Did you know that nearly 60% of English words have at least one silent letter? It's basically a language full of secrets. And honestly, the letter T is the biggest offender of them all. We spend years learning the alphabet only for English to turn around and say, "Yeah, I know I wrote a T there, but just pretend it doesn't exist." It's literally like that one friend who RSVPs to a party and then just never shows up. If you've ever felt like you're working too hard to pronounce every single letter, I have some great news for you. Can stop. Today, I'm going to show you exactly when to ghost the letter T so you can finally sound like a natural. Let's get straight into it. We're going to start with the rarest of them all, the silent T at the beginning of words. Now, straight up, English doesn't really have words that officially start with a silent T. But we have borrowed some words from other languages that make things a bit awkward for our mouths. Think about the word tsunami or czar. If you try to say that T and the S right next to each other at the very start of a word, it feels like your tongue is doing gymnastics. Most of us in the US just give up on the T entirely. We say tsunami and czar. If you want to try and pronounce the T, go for it, but honestly, it's a lot of work for no reason. Most people won't even notice if you skip it. It's one of those English words you've been pronouncing wrong if you're trying too hard to be literal. Now let's move into a much bigger category. If you see a word ending in STLE, that T is basically invisible. Think of the word castle. You don't say castle, right? It's castle. Same goes for whistle. It's whistle. There are actually two ways people handle these words. Some people go straight from the S to the L sound like SL. Others, like me, put a tiny little sound in there called a schwa. Casule. Both are totally fine. Let's look at some others that fit this vibe. We have bristle. You know, those stiff hairs on a hairbrush or a broom. Then there's gristle. If you've ever bitten into a piece of steak and found that chewy white part, yeah, that's the gristle. Not a great vibe. Then we have the thistle, which is a prickly plant and the national symbol of Scotland. Here's a pro tip to remember them. Thistle has sharp bristles. Easy, right? We also can't forget mistletoe. It doesn't end in STLE, but it has that same cluster in the middle. We don't say mistletoe. It's mistletoe. It's that plant people hang up at Christmas to get a free kiss. Some people say it with a sharp S like missile, and some use a Z sound like mizzle. Both are cool. Then we have apostle, with that short O sound. And for the short sounds, we've got wrestle, pestle, and Nestle. Just a heads up on wrestle. The W at the start is also silent. English is just full of surprises today, isn't it? And lastly, my favorites, hustle, bustle, and rustle. They just sound so satisfying to say. Let's do a quick practice run. Try to say this with me. As the hustle and bustle slowly died down, I heard the rustling sound of a mouse nestling in its burrow. Or how about this? The wind whistled around the castle as the apostle wrestled to close the heavy door. If you can say those without tripping over your tongue, you're doing great. Next up, we have the STEN words. The rule here is simple. Drop the T. Listen and fasten are the big ones. It's not leasten or fasten. As listen and fasten. It feels way smoother, right? It's like the language is finally letting you breathe. We also have glisten and christen. But wait, there's always a but in English. Watch out for names. For example, the famous author Jane Austen. We actually pronounce the T there. So it's Austen, not Austen. Let's practice those STEN words really quick. Repeat after me. We hastened to the church to listen as the baby was christened in a glistening gown. See, you're already sounding way more fluent. This is a key part of how to speak English fluently, knowing when to simplify your speech. Now let's talk about a couple of words that cause a lot of arguments. Soften and often. With soften, the T is always silent. Always. Soften. But often is the wild card. Some people say often and some say often. Honestly, both are 100% okay. You might hear a teacher tell you that often is wrong, but millions of native speakers say it that way. I personally usually say often because it feels faster, but you do you. Moving on to some hidden silent T's that show up in the middle of everyday words. Christmas. We don't say Christmas. We say Christmas. Mortgage. This is a big one. It's mortgage. That T is totally dead. Chestnut. Most people skip the T here and say chestnut. And then there's asthma. The in the middle is usually silent. So instead of struggling. Now, here is a little secret that will make you sound like you've lived in the US your whole life. Sometimes we drop that even when it's not officially silent. This happens in connected speech. Take the word post-war. Most people say post-war. Or lastly, we usually say STLE. Wristband. Most people say wristband. We do this when a T is squished between an S and another consonant. It's not a strict rule, but it makes your speech flow so much better. If you're trying to say she has the nicest smile, you don't need to hit that T and nicest really hard. Nice smile sounds much more natural. Same with last bus or left feet. Try this sentence with me. The bank softened the blow and reduced my mortgage payments last Christmas. Notice how I didn't really pop the T in last? Just slides right into the ch of Christmas. If it feels forced, don't worry about it, but if you want that native vibe, give it a try. Finally, we have the fancy section. These are words English borrowed, stole, from French. In French, they love to leave the last letter silent, and we kept that tradition. Ballet, gourmet, crochet, chalet, buffet, depot, rapport. For valet, some people say valet and some say valet. Both are fine, but valet sounds a bit more old money. Let's wrap this up with one last practice sentence. After the ballet, we went to a gourmet buffet in a Swiss-style chalet. And there you have it. You just mastered the silent T. English can be a headache, but once you know where the shortcuts are, it becomes a whole lot of fun. If you found this helpful and want to keep leveling up your English game, do me a huge favor, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me keep making these for you. Also, let me know in the comments, which of these words were you pronouncing with it this whole time? I'm curious. Thanks for hanging out with me today at 10 Minute English Academy. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.